Hello all. I hope all of you can hear my voice. And also I hope my screen is visible to all of you. If yes, please you can comment if I am audible to all of you and my screen is also visible to all of you. Please let me know and then we can proceed. This is very important chapter, file handling. Once you will learn this particular chapter, you will be able to process with the files. You can store data in the files, you can read data from the files, and you can do lot of operations. So this is very important chapter, and you must learn this particular chapter for creating various projects and everything. So file operations are very important. Let me know whether my voice is audible to all of you and my screen is visible, so we can proceed further. So I hope I am audible to all of you. Okay. uh, Please all of you let me know whether I am audible to all of you and my whether my screen is visible. Yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah, good afternoon to everyone, and let's start this particular session, which is on the files. Okay. So see here why we are studying this file chapter. You did with the help of your screen. Okay, whatever output you were seeing on the screen, and you were taking the input also from the keyboard, and from the keyboard you were taking the input and you were displaying on the screen. So all the input output you were doing with the help of console. In console we have what? Console means what? We have our keyboard and screen. Okay? Keyboard and screen. So only related to this stuff you are doing all the input output operation. But what happens, students, whenever we write any program, okay, whenever we write any program, let's say we want to write a program of average marks of average marks of 10 students. Okay, 10 students. Now for this particular program, for 10 students marks, for 10 student marks, we need to enter 10 students marks. Okay, 10 student marks we need to enter. Now when we will enter this particular marks through our keyboard, right, we will do in our program some processing. We will add them and then we will calculate the average, and after calculating the average we will display on the screen. Okay, so this will be displaying on the screen. But what will happen once program will terminate? Once this particular program, once this program terminates, then whatever data, okay, once this particular program terminates, whatever data you have created or you have taken from the user, like 10 student marks, right, 10 student marks, then you have calculated the average marks, all these data will be lost. Okay, all these data will be lost because our data will be there in the temporary memory. Our data will be there in the temporary memory. When program execution will stop, when program execution when program execution will stop, at that time, we will lose our data. Okay, we will lose our data. So in the future, let's say, suppose I require the same student data. Okay, I want to store that particular data. I don't want that whenever next time I will do any processing, I should not lose the data. I should be able to use that particular data. So for that purpose, we require some permanent storage. Okay, we require permanent storage, right? So whenever program will terminate, we will store our data. Before that, we will store our data in the permanent storage. Store data in the permanent storage. So next time whenever we want to use that particular data, again we will write the code to read the data. Okay, we will write the code to read the data from the permanent storage. Read the data from the permanent storage. Okay, and then we can utilize that particular data and we can do the processing again. So in this way, we can save our data. We can save our data. And whenever program will be terminated, at that time our data will not be lost. So this is the idea. So what different things are available for permanent storage? Okay, different things which are available for permanent storage are like your pen drive, where you can store data, your hard disk, okay? Your hard disk, you can store the data on DVD, right? So all different stuffs are there. In drive you can store your data. Here we'll be using the files. So we will create some files and we will store the data, and these files will be stored in our hard disk only. Okay, so that's why the files are what? Permanent storage. Okay, this is a permanent storage system. And whatever things we will write to the files, for example 10 student marks, we will 10 student marks we will take from the user. Okay, 10 student marks we will take from the user and we will store in the file. So next time whenever we need this particular data, we can always read from the file. We can always read from the file. So this data will not be lost because this data is there in the file, and file will be there as long as your hard disk is there in proper state. So you will be able to recover your file and you will be able to read the content from the file. This is the idea, right? So the thing is, now here I'm just talking about the 100 student. Okay, 100 student, but there can be n number of students. There can be 1,000 student, 10,000 students, and all this data we want to store to the file through the program, and then whenever we want we can read through the program that particular data and we can do whatever processing we want. So in that way we can automate the things. So let's go ahead with the files. I just gave you the description why we require file. Why we require file, student? Because we want to store our data in the permanent storage. The reason is very simple. Whenever we execute our program, if we will not store in the permanent storage our variables data and everything, when program will be terminated, our data will be lost. So we want that whenever our program will be terminated, still our data should be persistent. Our data should be remain there, stored there. Whenever we need in the future, we can read from that particular file or anywhere permanent storage, and then we can do the processing. So hence we require some kind of permanent storage, and file is one of the permanent storage system. So let's now start with the files. Let's study a little bit about this and then we can proceed to the code. So file description I gave you, that why we require these files, right, for permanent storage purpose. Remember this thing. Now file handling in C. So before we proceed, we can just define this one. What do you mean by file? So file is a collection of a file is collection of, okay, related data. File is collection of related data placed on the hard disk. Placed on the hard disk. Okay. So this is a simple definition. A file is collection of related data. Student, the data should be related. It should not be like there should not be any relation. For example, let's say suppose I want to store data about the student. Okay, I want to store the data about the student. So all the data related to students like name, roll number, right? Then age, date of birth, right? Date of birth, address, all these data are related to the students only. So all this data, what we can do, we can combine all these data at one place and we can put inside a file. We can put this inside a file. So all these data are what? Related data. Related data. Now there should not be like this that in student data we also mix the faculty data. Okay, we will keep faculty data in a separate file. This will be in a separate file, whereas student data will be there in the separate file. Okay, so this will be, so these all data will be the related data. Don't put any random data in the file. So this is what the file is: collection of related data placed on the hard disk. This particular file will be saved. You create any file on your computer, it will be saved on your hard disk. Okay, so this is what the definition of your file. Now file handling in C. Your file handling in C, it happens by two different ways. The first one is, okay, first one is high level, high level, and second one is low level. Second one is low level. First one is high level and second one is low level. Now in high level system, okay, so in high level system, this will be with the standard files or stream oriented files. Okay, this will be related to standard files or stream oriented file, whereas the low level files will be associated with the system oriented files system oriented files. So let's see a few points about this one, high level and low level. So first point in high level is what? It is managed by library function. Okay, so library function will be provided to you and everything will be managed by the library function. So it is managed by library functions. Okay, library functions, whereas this one, it is managed by the system call. Managed by managed by system calls. Okay, second point, the high level file is what commonly used because it is very easy to manage, right? It is easier to manage and hides most of the details from the programmer. So the high level, I'll just write high level file is commonly used. High level file is commonly used because high level file is commonly used because since it is easier. Okay, since it is easier to use and manage, and and it hides most of the details from the programmer, and it hides most of the details most of the details from the programmer. Very important point, students. This is a high level file is commonly used since it is easier to use and manage, and it hides most of the details from the programmer. Whereas this one, it is not commonly used because of the difficulty of the understanding the details in this particular case. So it is not commonly used. It is not commonly used because it's very difficult. So we will also going to use this high level file handling only, right? Because all the library functions will be provided to us and we will be using the library function. So remember that there are two different types. One is high level handling, one is the high level handling, and second one is the low level handling. So we will be working with the high level handling in the file system, right? Okay. Now in this also uh, there are two ways of storing the data in the files. Okay, see, we will create one file. Okay, this is a file, let's say we have created on hard disk. Now the contents which we will write inside this file, this can be a pure text format, right? Text format means what? You can read this data, and you can understand also, right? So this is the text format data. But there is one more format of data that is called as the binary format of data. Binary format. If we will write the data in this particular format, then we will not be able to read this. We will not be able to read this. Able to read, because this will be there in the binary format. But the advantage is this will be fast. Binary format will be fast, and this text format will be little bit slow. Okay, this will be slow. But anyway, we can use anything. We will not find much difference. But yes, in reality, the binary format will be fast. The operations in the binary will be much faster in comparison to your text format. But for your point of view, you should be able to read the file and write the content to the file, whichever way you find suitable, because you should be able to know the operation, right? So here also you can have number of differences between these two, like the text format and the binary format. Text format and binary format. Text format and the binary format. So I'll cover most of the things so that in one video only, if you'll see, uh, everything will be clear to you. So in the text format, if you use the text format, data is stored as lines of characters. Okay, data will be stored as lines of characters. Lines of characters. Okay. And each line, okay, each line will be terminated by a new line character. Each line will be terminated by a new line character. So remember this one here. Whereas in this particular case, in binary format, data is stored on the disk in the same way as it is represented in the computer memory. So in the computer memory data is represented in binary format, right? So in the same way, it will be stored in the file. In the same way, it will be stored in the file in the binary format. So in binary format, the data is stored on the disk in the same way as it is represented in the computer memory. Second point is what? Second point is text files are human readable, which I explained you, right? This is what human readable, whereas this one is not human readable. This is not human readable. This is not human readable. Okay. So this one text file is what? Human readable. Text file is human readable, and they can be created and read using any text editor. But whereas this one will not be readable, and they can be created read only by specific programmer programs written for them, right? So binary data stored in the file can't be read using any editor. Okay, we'll see that particular content as the garbage. Okay, we cannot read simply with the help of any editor. So these are the few things about the text file and the binary file. There are a lot of other things are also available over there, but you can basically remember that two two important stuff, which one is human readable and this will not be human readable, but this is little bit slower, whereas the binary one will be little bit faster. These are the things. Now there is one concept of buffer which you must understand. Concept of buffer. So what is this concept of buffer? What is this buffer actually? So buffer is basically an area in the memory. Okay, so somewhere in the memory this buffer will be there. Let's say this is the memory, and there will be this buffer, let's say. Now what happens whenever we enter any data, that will be stored in this buffer. Okay, that will be stored in the buffer. Why we enter the data? Suppose we want the data to be entered to a file. Let's say this is a file. So before the data will go to the file, it will be stored in the buffer, which will be there in the memory somewhere. Once this buffer will be full, then the entire content of this buffer will be pushed to this particular file. Okay, and this is very good thing. Otherwise what will happen, we will enter one character through the keyboard, and that character will be pushed to the file. Okay, then we will going to enter the second character, and then that character will be pushed to the file. Now remember student, file operation a little bit slower operation in comparison to your RAM memory, which is happening in the memory operations, right? So it's a very good idea that every time we will not going to read and write to the file. We will not going to waste the time. But once the content is accumulated, and at once we will going to write entire thing to the file, which will save our time also, right? So this for this purpose we have the buffer. Okay. So when we open a file, automatically, okay, whenever we will open a file, automatically a buffer will be associated with this one. Okay, a buffer will be associated with this one, and one pointer will be created. So whatever data we will going to send to the file, it will not immediately return to the file. Whatever data we will going to send to the file, it will not immediately will be returned to the file, but when the file is closed, all the contents of the buffer, so we will, after writing, we'll close the file, and when the file will be closed, all the contents of the buffer are automatically returned to the file, even if the buffer is not full. Let's say buffer is not full, then also when we'll close the file, entire content will be returned to the file. So this is the idea. And this is also called as what? This is also called as the flushing the buffer. Flushing the buffer. Okay. Flushing the buffer. So we can also explicitly flush the buffer, right? We have one function f flush, and when we'll call this particular function, it will going to flush the buffer. So externally, explicitly also we can flush the buffer, or whenever we'll close the file, it will automatically flush the buffer and entire content will be written to the file. So the concept of buffer is used to increase the efficiency. Remember this thing. It is used to increase the efficiency. If there is no buffer, then we would have to access the disk each time for writing and for even single byte of data, and which will going to waste lot of time because of this disk operation, because this write and read operation, remember this thing, disk read write operation is very slow. Okay, it's slow. Disk read write operation is very slow, so we will going to waste lot of time in this operation. So remember this. Always remember, whenever you will open a file, a buffer will be created automatically. So what are the steps, what are the general steps for operation with the files in C programming? So first step is always, student, open a file. Okay, open a file. Second step, whatever operation you want to do, let's say you want to read the file. Okay, read the file, or you want to write the data to the file, write the data to the file. Then third step, so basically we will going to work in these three step only. Third step will be close the file, which is very important task. Never forget to close the file after your operation. Why this is important, student? Because let's say any file we have opened, let's say there is one A file, okay, and this file we have opened. Now I am doing, or let's say B person is doing certain tasks on this particular file. Now after performing the task, B has not closed this file. So now the C person will come and C wants the access of this particular file. So to the C person, it will be visible that this is opened by the B person, and C will not be able to do any particular task on this file, because this file is not closed by this B person. So always remember, once your task is completed, you must always close the file. If you will not close the file, other peoples will not be able to use the files. It's a very important task. So always remember, there will be three steps. One is open a file. Second step, read the file or write the file. And third one is close the file. Only these three tasks are available. So to open a file, we have fopen function, fopen function, and to close the file, we have fclose function. These two functions we will use for opening and closing the file. Okay, opening and closing the file. What is the syntax? I'll let you know. But basically, these two functions are there for opening the file and for closing the file. Okay, let's move ahead. Now, students, we need to understand that files can be opened in different modes. Okay, different modes are there. Different modes of operation. So, like, we can open the file in write mode. We can open the file in read mode. Okay, we can open the file in append mode. Then we can open the file in W plus mode, that is write plus. We can open the file in read plus mode. We can open the file in A plus mode, append plus mode. So basically we must understand what is the difference between all these modes, and basically what these modes are having different operations. So we must be aware of these things, then only we'll be able to use the things. Because if you'll not understand which operation you want to open the file, then you will not understand that which kind what you want to perform, right? Based on your task only, you will have to open these all different modes of the file. So let's understand quickly what these different modes are, what they suggest. So first mode is what? Student, first mode is W mode. W mode means what? It's a write mode. It's a write mode. So if the file, see, whenever you will have the file operation, there is possible that the file is already there, the file may already exist, or file will not be there. Okay, only these two possibility will be there. File may be already present, or file will not be there. So if the file doesn't exist in this particular mode, if you open the file, so if the file doesn't exist, then this particular mode will create a new file. Okay, so if file is not there, if file doesn't exist, then it will create a new file. Create a new file. So when it will create a new file, when the file will is not there. But if file exists, okay, if file exists already and you are trying to open the file in this mode, then what will going to happen? Then it will open the file, but the problem is what? The previous data, okay, it will remove the previous data. So previous data will be lost. Remember this thing. So if any file is there in which already contents are there, so don't try to open the file in this particular mode. If you'll open the file which already exists and you are opening the file in the right mode, then the entire content will be lost. But if you want to create a new file and you want to write in that one, then you can open in this particular mode. Second one is what? Let's see the append mode. A mode. A means what? It's a append mode. So if the file doesn't exist, then this particular mode creates a new file. First thing, okay? If file doesn't exist, then it will create a new file. It will create a new file. But if the file exists, already exists, then the new data entered. See, append means what? You want to append the new content at the end of the file. This is what it means. So if the contents are already present and the file already exists, then whatever contents you are adding to the file, it will be appended at the end of the file. Okay, contents will be appended at the end of the file. End of the file. Okay, so this is the idea. So remember this thing, if the file doesn't exist, then this mode creates a new file, and if the file already exists, then the new data entered is appended at the end of the file of the existing data. So in this mode, the data existing in the file is not erased, okay, which was happening in what? W mode. Here in the W mode, if the content is already present, you are opening in this particular mode, your data will be erased. But in append mode, your data will not be erased, okay, and the new contents will be appended at the end of the file. Similarly, you have the read mode. This is called as the read mode. So in the read mode, if you want to open the file, okay, so this mode is used for operating a existing file. Please remember, a file must be already present. Okay, file must be already present. So this mode is used for operating an existing file. Operating an existing file. If the file is not already present, then we cannot use this particular mode. So file must be already present, and then only you can use this particular mode. Okay. Now in this mode, what you can do? So this mode is specifically for reading purpose only. Okay. You can read the content, whatever contents of the file is there, you can read that particular content. So for reading the content of the file, you cannot write anything. And a previous data of the contents is also not erased, whatever contents are there, because we are not overwriting on the file, we just want to read the content of the file. So we will be able to read the content of the file, but the condition is file must be already present and the previous content will not be erased. Previous content previous content will not be erased. Okay? Will not be erased. Remember this. Now let's see the next type of operation, that is the W plus mode. So W plus mode means what? Plus will going to give you something extra, that is the read also. So in this particular mode, if you open the file in W plus mode, it will work same as W mode. Everything will be same, but extra thing what you will get, that is you can also read the content of the file. In the W mode, if you open the file, you can only write the content, but you cannot read the content. But in W plus mode, if you open the file, you can write as well as you can read the content of the file. But everything will remain the same. If the previous content is there, the content will be erased. Okay, previous content will be erased. Then next mode is what? Next mode is student R plus mode. R plus mode. R plus means what? It will give you read plus write option. Read plus write option. So if you open this particular mode, it is same as the read mode. It is same as the read mode, R mode. So file must be, it is same as the read mode. So in this case, but with the plus sign, obviously we are getting what? Extra thing. Extra thing is what? We can also write to this particular file. We can also write to this particular file. So file to be opened must already exist. That is the condition for read mode also. So file must exist. Then only you can open the file in this particular mode. File must already exist and previous data of the file is not erased. So here previous content will not be erased. Okay. Along with this one, we can add new data and modify the existing data also. Modifying the existing data also, and that's why this particular mode is called as what? Update mode. This particular mode is called as update mode, because here we can read the content of the file, we can write the content to the file, we can update the content of the file. So that's why this is called as what? Update mode. Similarly, there is a last mode, that is the append mode, A plus mode. So in the A plus mode means what? Append plus read. This operation we will get. So it will work similar to your A mode, where contents will not be erased, and whatever contents you will write, that will be appended at the end of the file. But here we can also read the content of the file. So there, in the previous A mode, we can only append, but in this A plus mode, we can also read from the file. So this operation we can perform. And if already this if the file doesn't exist, a new file will be created. But if the file already exists, then new data is appended at the end of the existing file. And we cannot modify data in this particular mode. The previous content you cannot modify. Whatever data is there, that will be appended at the end of the file. End of the file. You cannot modify the previous content of the file. So that thing is there. Okay, students. So basic things we have learned, right? Basics things we have learned. Now we can jump to the program, and I'll I'll let you know how to write the program and how we can proceed ahead further. So we can start with the basic program, and then slowly one or two programs we will see, in which we will also see the experiment number 12, which I gave you, that how to perform encryption decryption with the help of the file. So let me show one basic program. I'll write the question and then we can move ahead and we can see this particular program. The question is like this: read string or text from the screen. Okay, read string, or let's say text, from the screen. From the screen means keyboard. Okay, from the screen, or you can say keyboard. Then write to the file. Write this content. Write this content to the file. After that, write this content to the file. Then open the file. Open the file. Read it. Read it and display the content of the file. Display the content of the file on the screen. On the screen. So basically this is the thing what we have to do. We have to take some input from the user. Okay, from the user we will take the input, and input will be basically text or string, and this particular stuff we will going to write to the file, and then we will read from the file, and from the file we will going to display on the screen. So this is the idea of this particular question. So let's move ahead and we will see how we can proceed. Now for this one, I'll be using F open. So remember three steps which I gave you. What are those three steps? Let me revise that. So basically these are the three steps. Open a file, read the file or write the data to the file, and close the file. So basically these are the three steps which we will going to perform. So how to open a file? So for opening a file, I'll be writing like this. What I'll do, I'll have to create one file pointer, students. One file pointer like this. You can give any name. Let's say I have given FP name, and then I'll say FP is equal to F open. F open is the function. In this, which file you want to open, you will have to give the name of that file. So let's say I'll give my data dot txt file, and in which particular mode you want to open the file. Let's say I want to open in write mode. So the moment you will open the file in the write mode, if the file already exists, then it's whatever contents in the file will be there, it will be deleted, right? But if the file does not exist, then a new file will be created with the name mydata.txt. F open is the function to open this particular file in this mode. So it will take two parameters, and this fp is a pointer. So if file will be open, that fp pointer will be associated with that file. So by somehow if the file will not be open, then fp will going to return null value. Okay, but if the file is opened successfully, then we will this fp will point to that file, my data.txt file, and then with the help of this fp we can write the content to the file. And finally, after performing the task, you can say f close fp, that file pointer. So it will basically close the file. With the help of this one, we can close the file. This is how we will going to write the program. So students, let's write this particular program. The program is what? Question is what? Read the string or text from the user and write the content to the file. Open the file in read mode and display the content on the screen. Very basic program. Let's go ahead. I'll open the code block. I'll just increase the font so that it will be visible to all of you. Yeah. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll first write hash include. Okay. Then void main. So in this I'll be writing the content. So first task what I'll be doing, for string I'll create one character array or string array of let's say 100 characters, and in this I will take the user input. Then I'll have to create one file pointer, which just now I explained you. I'll give the name as fp, file pointer. Then I'll say fp is equal to fopen. So here basically we'll have to give the name of the file. Now I'll give the name as what, my data dot txt. Now remember, this file is already not there in my drive. So what it will do, it will create a new file. I want to open this particular file in write mode. So whatever contents user will enter, I want to write that content in this particular file, my data.txt file. I'll display some message to the user, that printf. So I'll say enter the text. Then I'll say printf. I'll give one more message, when to stop. Users should know when to stop. So I'll say that to stop entering text, press Control plus Z on Windows and Control plus D on Unix or Mac machine, right? So user will see this particular stuff. So remember, after your entering the text is finished, you must press what, Control Z. So you will have to enter the Control Z on the Windows, and if you are working on the Unix, Linux or Mac machine, you have to press Control D to stop, to let this thing that this is done. Now what I'll be doing, I'll check. So if the file is successfully open, I told you that this FP will have the pointer to this particular file, otherwise it will have the null content. So I'll have to check that one. What I'll do, if fp is not equal to null, means what, I got the file is successfully opened and I got the file pointer. So this my fp, this fp will be pointing where, it will be pointing to my data.txt file. It will be pointing to my data.txt file. So what I'll do, I'll say while, so with the help of this gets function, I'll get the string. So in the string, see, I have created character array. So whatever user will enter the data, that will be stored in the this particular string. So I am saying get string till null. Okay, so it will get the string. And what I'll have to do, I'll have to basically write this particular string to the file. So f puts, this f puts is what, see, puts for the displaying on the screen, but if we write f puts, this will write to the file. It will not display on the screen, but it will write to the file. So for writing to the file, string content or text content, we can use f puts. F puts, I will just write writing string to the file, f puts function. So what you want to write, I want to write this string content, whatever content is there, just write that one to the file. Once that writing is done, once that is over, my job is to close this particular file. So I'll say close, close fp. So I'll close my file. Okay, once this file content is done, once this is done writing, then you can close the file. After this, once this is done, so there can be other possibility also, because fp may be null also, in case when the file is not opened, some issue is there, let's say permission is not there to create the file in that particular drive. So fp may be null also. So else we will write, if the file is not opened successfully, so we will say, we will display the message printf Here we can write could not open file in write mode. Okay, so user will see and then he will have his own conclusion why the file could not be opened, right? So we will have to give certain messages. So this is for the writing the content to the file. What we did, we opened the file. This file is not there in my drive, so it will create a new file and the file will be open in write mode. So whatever contents I'll be taking from the user, how I'm taking the content from the user, through this one gets str. So till a null, it will take the all the characters and all the string, and then I'll write that particular string to the file with the help of fputs function. Once this job is done, I'll just close my file. So by using fclose, I'll close the file. In by somehow, if I'll not get the if the fp will return the null, that means the file is not open, then I'll display the message to the user that could not open the file in the write mode. So this writing is done. What I want, that content also will be read from the file and it will be displayed on the screen. So now I'll do the reading operation. This was the writing operation. Now I'll do the reading operation. So reading string, or let's say text from file. Okay. For this one again, what I'll have to do, I'll have to open the file. So I'll write fp is equal to f open. Which file you want to open? I want to open, give the name properly. If there will be any spelling mistake, then it will not be able to open, because for opening the file in read mode, file must already present. So you will have to enter proper name. So what you can do, you can simply copy the name over there. If you don't want to make any mistake, you can simply copy this one and you can paste here. So name is got pasted, and I'll have to specify the read mode also. So I am opening the file, opening the file in read mode, okay. Now there can be two possibilities. The file will be opened successfully and then we will be able to read the content, but if any case fp will return null, that means file is not open in this mode successfully. So I'll write in the same way over here also. If fp is not equal to null, so if this is the case, that means file is opened successfully. If the file is opened successfully, I'll going to read the content of the file and will display on the screen. So I'll write while how to read the content from the file. There is one function fgets. So gets function will get the string, but fgets will get the string from the file. So for using this fgets, what you will have to do, you will have to write where you want to get the string. I want to get the string in the str variable, and you will have to specify the length also. So let's say I am giving 100, and you will have to give the pointer of the file. So pointer of the file is what? fp. So this will going to read the content from the file till null it will encounter. And what we will do, we will simply use the puts function. Puts, you know, all of you know that put string for displaying the content on the string. So I will simply display this string just now, which is read from the file on the screen. Once this reading is will be done, my job is always to what? Close the file. So I'll close the file, give the file pointer name. So it will basically close the file. But in case if fp is equal to null, so in the else part I'll write that, I'll give the message to the user, printf, that file is not open in read mode. Or I'll write could not open the file in read mode. Could not open the file in read mode. This will be proper message. Okay. So done. Our task is done. Basically what we did. So let me save this particular program. I'll save this one with the name file file read write. Okay, text dot c. So let me explain again. And see, in this drive, I'll be going to store create that file my data.txt. If you see, there is no my data.txt file is available. Okay, over here. So when I will run, it will going to create that particular file. So let me run this particular program. I'll save this and then run. So it's showing some error over here. Hmm. So while writing to the file, it's showing the error that the problem is what I have written on the string, the thing which I want to write to the file, but file pointer I missed over here. So you will also have to include the file pointer. Okay, where you want to write the content which I gave for writing, but file pointer I was missing. That's why it was giving the error. Let's save this again and compile it. F close, spelling mistake. Okay, now again let's run. Now this one again F close. Oh, I think my C key is not working properly on the keyboard. That's why C is missing. Okay. Let's again compile this. Now it got compiled. So two messages we will see. Enter the text. To stop entering text, press Ctrl Z on Windows and Ctrl D on the Unix. So I'll write, hi everyone, how are you? We are studying file handling in C. Now this content I gave, I'll just press enter, and to stop writing, okay, to stop writing, I'll press Control Z simultaneously, Control Z, because this is my window, so I'll press Control Z. So it will look like this. I pressed already, now I'll enter. The moment I will enter, the content will be saved to the file. The content will be saved to the file. Now this line which you are seeing over here, this is the content which I have read from the file and displaying on the screen. Now let me show you where the file is created. Let's go to the this folder. So wherever you will save your program, it will save the it will create the file also over there. So let me search my data.txt, my data dot this one. Let's open this. So see here, this file is there in the D drive, and the contents are available in this particular file. And the same content we read through the program and we displayed on the screen, right? This is what we did. I hope this particular program all of you must have understood. uh, I'll again just explain. In this particular program, I wanted to read the content, that is text or string from the user, and I wanted to write to the file, and then I wanted to read the content from the file and display on the screen. So what I did, I created one character variable array and then one file pointer. Then I opened my file my data.txt in write mode, and you need to remember this thing, that you need to press Ctrl Z on the Windows and Ctrl D on the Unix, because we are reading the content through gets, right? So I wrote this one. If fp is not equal to null, I basically start reading the string, and then I'm writing in the file with the help of fputs function. Then with the help of fgets function, I'm reading the content from the file. And to open the file in the read mode, we will have to write like this: fopen my data.txt and read mode. This is how we can open the file in the read mode and read the content in the string variable, and then write puts string for writing this particular string on the screen. So this is the basic program. Now the experiment list, in the experiment list you will see the question is like this. So we will see that one also. Let me create another file. Okay. And all of you please write the question so that you can remember. So please write down the question. I'll write the question. Second one. The question is like this. Write a program. Okay, WAP means write a program to to take input from user, that is text input. Okay, text input, and write to file and encrypt it, encrypt it, encrypt it, and then write to file, then write to file. This is your 12th experiment also. Okay, 12th experiment, and write to file. After writing, after writing, open the file, open the file in the read mode, in the read mode, and read the content, read the content, decrypt it, decrypt it, and display on the screen, and display on the screen, display on the screen. So this is a program which we want to do. Why we want to do encryption decryption? See, basically we want to write a secret information inside a file. Okay, secret information inside a file, and we should not be visible to anybody else. If somebody will open this particular file, they should not be able to understand what is written inside this file. So before writing the content to this particular file, we will going to encrypt it. Encryption means what? We will use some code to encrypt this particular file so that the content will not be in an understandable format to the user or any eavesdropper who will be seeing this particular file. Then for our purpose, what we will do, whenever we want to read the file, we will have to first decrypt it. We'll have to first decrypt it, and then only we can read the content from the file. So we will use some password for this particular file, and let's say any number we will use 123, and with the help of this number we will encrypt the content of the file. There are n number of ways by which you can perform this particular operation. I'll do by one very simple method, right? And then I'll encrypt the content of the file, and then whenever we want, we can just read the content. We will decrypt it and we will display on the screen. So this is the basically question. Let's go in the code block. Okay, so for this one I'll write hash include. Let me increase the size. Studio.io.h. Here in this program I will also require string.h because I'll be using or let's say I'll try to do, if I'll require then I'll include that one later. Void main. So first thing what I'll do, I'll create a file pointer, let's say fp, and I'll create one character array str, let's say of 100 characters. I'm assuming it will not go beyond that one. I'll take one I variable which I will require for loop, and one password variable where we will have the password, right? And with the help of that password only we can encrypt and decrypt. So I'll ask the user printf Okay, before that one, I'll enter the things like this to the user, that enter the text, right? The same thing, printf. Let's say I'll copy from here these two lines, or I'll copy this thing till here, writing stuff, all these things. So basically, I require the same thing over here. Okay. So what I did, I opened the file in write mode. So if you open the file in the write mode, whatever is the previous content, it will be deleted. The file is already present, right? If you want any other file, you can use the other file. Or let me take the other file, let's say encrypt encrypt.txt file. Or I'll take message, let's say message.txt file. So message.txt file in the W mode, if the file is not present, then it will create a new file. So I'm displaying the message, enter the text. Then to stop entering text, press Ctrl plus Z on Windows and Ctrl D on the Unix or Mac machine. If FP is not equal to null, I'll open the file, right? And it will open the file. It will take the content from the screen from the user and it will write to the file. But before writing to the file over here, what I'll do, I'll basically do all these operations in this while loop. So before writing to the file, I'll just encrypt the code. Okay, I'll just encrypt the entire text and then I will write to the file. So for that purpose, I'll write for I equal to 0, right? Till when I want to do, till I encounter str of I have explained you that string is always terminated with a null character. So till I will encounter a null character, I will take each and every character of the string, right? And what I will do, I'll do one simple operation. Every character of the string, and I will store at the same location. So with the every character of the string, I'll do this XOR operation. Okay, XOR operation. Now with the XOR operation, I'll use this password, whatever password I have taken from the user. So this password which I have declared over here, we have to ask the user. So before doing this operation, I need to ask the user over here, printf enter the password, enter the password for encryption and decryption. Okay, so I'll be basically using the same password for encryption and same password for the decryption. So idea will be like this, that whenever you want to encrypt, you can use the password, whatever password your user by enter, encrypt the file and give that password via phone or something else to the user. Then he will use the same key or the password to decrypt the file. So here I'll say scanf %d and %pwd. So in the password, I have stored the whatever password user will enter. So the same password I am using over here for doing the encryption. Once the encryption is done, right? Once the encryption is done, what I am doing, I am writing that string to the file with the help of this one, and then I am closing this. This operation I have told you. Now this is the writing operation. After this, the reading operation I'll do. So I'll copy the same content from this particular file for the reading, same content, Control C. Okay. So for reading the file, but the file name is now what? File name is message.txt. Don't do any mistake in writing the name. So I'll just copy paste message.txt. So it will open the file in the read mode, and then it will read the content, but the content I want to display on the screen, but before displaying on the screen I need to decrypt that content. Okay, so here also I'll do the same operation. Here also I'll do the same operation. So I will apply the for loop. I will basically copy this thing, this for loop. I'll use the same password which was stored in the pwd, and basically this particular stuff will going to decrypt. So I will use the same XOR. The beauty of this XOR operation is if you XOR two times with the same key, any character, you will get back the same character. First time you will XOR, you will get the encrypted code. Then again you will XOR. What I am telling you is this thing. I'll just explain you. See, suppose you have anything, let's say hello. So you XOR this hello with, let's say, 1 2 3. So you will see some garbage stuff like this. Again you take the same content and you XOR with 1 2 3. You will get back your hello message. Okay, you will get back your hello message. So same operation I am doing. First, while writing to the file, I am taking the message and I am XORing it with 1 2 3, and then I am writing to the file. Then while reading, what I am doing, I am reading the content and then I am XORing with 1 2 3 to display on the screen the decrypt version of the code. So this is what I am doing. Let's go ahead over there. Okay, now there will be one problem. If we'll do simply in this way, see what will going to happen. I'll just save this. So for this one I'll give the name encrypt decrypt dot c. Encrypt decrypt, yes, I'll replace. Okay, encrypt decrypt dot c. Let me run this. So enter the password for encryption decryption. I'll use 1 2 3. Enter the text to stop entering. So I'll say, hi everyone, this is very secret information. Don't disclose it. Let's say suppose I have written this one. So to stop this one, I'll say Control Z and I'll enter. Now the content is written to the file, but when I'm trying to read from the file, I'm seeing only this much, whereas the data is still don't disclose it till over here, but I am able to see only this much. So this one problem I am encountering. Let me show you the file also. The file is what? Message.txt. So let's open that file, message.txt here. So if you open the file, see it, we cannot read anything, right? It's what? It's encrypted file. So we will see the content like this. So this is a secret file, and that's the reason we are encrypting it. But with the help of that code, we can easily decrypt the content of this file and we are displaying on the screen. But the problem which I am encountering is what? Okay. The problem I am encountering is what? That it's not able to display the whole content. Displaying only this much. The reason is very simple. In the file when I am doing the operation, so with the XOR operation, it might be converting to null thing. So wherever it will get the null, only that much is it's displaying on the screen. This is the problem, right? So for doing this particular operation, I'll suggest you that you do in the binary mode, not in the text mode. So for doing the operation in the binary mode means what? It will convert into 1 0 wala format. So in the binary mode, you need to specify After this W specify B. So this will open the file in write mode, but with not in the text mode, in the binary mode. Similarly, for reading also, you open the file. Okay, where is our F open to read? Yeah, over here. So read the file in the binary mode. Okay, RB, write the RB. So if we will do in the binary mode and then again we will run it. Now I'll use the password, let's say 345. Enter the test. Hello, my name is Om. This is critical information. Okay, something like this. Hmm. Okay, so I'll enter. To stop this, I'll press Ctrl Z. I'll enter again. So now see here, I have entered the content to the file and it's displaying also completely because I have written the binary mode. So there is no this thing. I mean, after conversion, if there is no chance of this thing getting the null character over there, and then I'm able to display the proper content on the screen. And if you want to see the content of the file, then go over here and see this is what it is written, and it will write anything. We will not be able to find out that what it has written. It will be in the garbage format, but the idea was simple that we wanted to encrypt the content of the file and then we wanted to decrypt it. So our purpose is served. And why people do like this, that whenever they want to send any secret information, they want to always encrypt the file so that if anybody in between open the file or sees the file, they will be not be able to read the content of the file, but the intended user only will be able to read the file, because the intended user only will have the content of the key of the file, the password of the file, and with the help of the password he will be able to read the content of the file. He will be able to decrypt the content of the file. So student, this was the things which I wanted to explain, right? But there are a lot of different steps are still available in the file operation. If you want more information regarding the file and their operation, then I can take more lecture based on this one. But this till here the basic stuff is clear, and this will be sufficient for you to go through and to have the basic knowledge about the file, and 2 3 programs you'll be able to write, as well as also you'll be able to complete your experiment. But if you want more thing, then you can comment over there and then I can provide again. I can come live and I can take one more lecture in this one, or I can create content for this file operation and I can post in the channel. So thanks a lot all of you for joining over here. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. It's open for the doubt. You can write the comments if you want to ask anything. Otherwise, we can close the session. Yes, all of you. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, student, I think so. I'll close this thing. Later also, you can post if you have any doubt. You can post the comment and then I'll answer over there. Thanks a lot for watching this.